All right, y'all. Camera died on me, so took a little break. That way I gave the battery some time to charge up a little bit. But more importantly, I got some food in me, you know. That way I'm able to break these last couple verses down the way I need to. So we're just going to get right back into the video, man. I believe we left off on number 3, which was Lord Knows, and that joint is fire. That joint is fire. I love that verse. It's probably top 2 of my favorite verses of all time from Drake. So I actually like Lord Knows more than I like this next track that I'm about to break down now, which is going to be number 2 that's coming up. So I just want to kind of put that out there. But if I'm looking at this from a objective standpoint, like just lyrics, you have to separate these last 2 verses and just put them on a different tier of lyricism compared to the past 3 verses that I've broken down so far that's on the list. So I'm not gonna hype it up too much, man. I'm not gonna hype it up, but I definitely feel very comfortable with these last 2 verses that's on the list that I'm gonna break down. So we're just gonna jump into it, man. Number 2 on the list is I just feel like doing this, man. Anytime I hear this song, this is what I'm doing. Wait till that beat drop, though. Let's get it. All that weak shit will ruin me. Fuck them. Man, diplomatic immunity is iconic, bro. This joint is so cryptic, and I've had to go back and listen to this verse so much because the first time I listened to it, I didn't really understand fully everything that he's saying. And to this day, I still don't know everything that he's talking about in this verse. But, bro, hey, like I said, I'm not going to hype it up too much, man, but I'm about to let Drake talk to y'all. Like, for real, for real. Let's get it.
Cause niggas started talking to me like I'm
slowing down.
Opinions over statistics.
Of course.
Gassed up journalistic, come at me and all you get is
the ballistic report. Man, we stopping right there. Oh my goodness. The way he comes in, bruh, people don't understand. So what Drake is saying here, he says, cause niggas started talking to me like I'm slowing down. Opinions over statistics, of course. That bar alone is fire, but he makes it even better by saying, gassed off journalistic, come at me and all you get is the ballistic report. Oh my goodness, bruh. So what he's essentially saying is, people keep coming up to him like, bruh, you're not what you used to be. You're not rapping the way you used to. But what Drake is saying is, bruh, y'all letting this media thing get to y'all. Like, y'all letting these journalists come to y'all and gas y'all up. But if you come at me, all you gonna get is the ballistic report. So for people who don't know what a ballistic report is, like forensics, the ballistic report is basically evidence or details in a case that kind of pushes you in a conclusion to kind of help figure out the case. So what he's saying is, Drake's saying, all I'm gonna do is show you my track record, bro. I'm gonna give you the evidence that kind of backs up what I'm saying. That's why when he says opinions over statistics, of course, that is so fire, bro. Love that line. We're gonna keep it moving. Let's get it. Hold up, we're gonna back it up a little bit first, because I just want to hear that one more time. Just one more time.
Show me your badge right now. Here you go. Let me see that again. I didn't get a good look at that.
Let me see that one more time.
opinions over statistics.
Of course.
Gassed up journalistic,
come at me and all you get is the ballistic report. Twisting the court.
I got multicolored rings like the Olympics, of course. At award shows, cutting through the
tension.
Of course. Girls hugging me and asking me
what scent that is, boy.
I be walking around the
like I invented it.
Boy.
See, okay. Hey, I'm gonna let y'all know off rip, man. This is gonna be a long video because there's bars in here that I just need to touch on. I just have to touch on them. So he says, I got multicolored rings like the Olympics, of course, at the award shows, cutting through the tension. So when he brings up multicolored rings, he's obviously talking about he's winning a lot in this game, like championship rings. But the Olympics, the symbol for the Olympics is the multicolored rings, and the rings represent like the continents that are going to be competing in the Olympic Games. So what he's saying here is that at the award shows, he's cutting through the tensions like the Olympics, because at the Olympics, of course, it's just games, like they're just playing games, but you can't help but feel that kind of, it's just a certain feel that you get, like of anxiety that's getting built up, or just stressful. Like that's why he's saying at the award shows, when he's winning all these awards, he's cutting through that tension that's there, like if he was at the Olympics, because you get that same type of feel at the Olympics, because understandably it's just games, but these continents and these countries still have their beef, and you can't just ignore that. So when you are going up against a Russia or someone else that your country or continent is beefing with, you can't help but feel that added level of stress or anxiety that's there. So that's a fire line. That's why I just had to touch on it, man. Fire. Drake, let's keep it going.
Cutting through the tension, of course. Girls hugging me, they're asking me what's that is, boy.
I be walking around the 6 like I invented it, boy.
Yeah, who am I, the do or die, the one with the fewest lies,
and the truest ties.
They try to compare us, but like a job straight out of high school.
There's no you and I.
I taught you everything you know.
Now you got student pride. Hey, man. I just don't think people understand what they just heard right there. Because for me, what I just listened to was probably one of Drake's top 3 bars of all time, bruh. And that's why we're going to back it up, because, bro, this setup is so clean, bruh. Drake be killing me with these setups. I'm going to go back to the top where he starts setting it up. He starts setting it up right after he says, I be walking around the 6 like I invented it, boy. Which nobody's going to argue, man. Everybody know that Drake put Canada on the map, or Toronto, whatever you want to say, the 6. He put them on the map. That's not even debatable. But this is where he starts setting it up. He says, yeah, who am I? The do or die, the end all be all, the one with the fewest lies and the truest ties. They try to compare us, but like a job straight out of high school, there's no you and I. So, fire. First of all, fire. But it's such a great bar, because you can take it down so many different ways, bruh. So what he's saying here is, 1, there's no you and I. You can't compare me to you. There's just one of us. So you and I is the prefix for singular. 1. He's one of a kind is what he's saying. There's no you and I. It's just me. I'm one of a kind. Fire right there. But also, he sets it up by saying, like a job straight out of high school, there's no you and I. You and I, it's also used for university. So like a job straight out of high school, there's no you and I. There's no universe. Bro, fire. Fire. I love that, bruh. That is straight fire. So, like I said, you could that bar is so great, because it's like 3 different meanings to it. No you and I, like me and you, there's no you and me. There's just one of us. So you and I, prefix, but you and I, university, bruh, that bar is loaded. That bar is loaded. Oh my goodness. We're going to keep it going. But I just wanted to touch on that. And then he ends it by saying, now you got student pride, all factual. Goodness gracious. Keep it going, Drake. We're gonna run that back just a little bit, because I just want to hear it again.
Straight out of high school.
There's no you and I.
I taught you everything you know.
Now you got student pride.
All factual. I call the house the embassy, the studio, the chapel. I hate to travel. Yeah. The furthest I've been, that's
Word to my ends.
word of the flags that belong.
In the hood of my Benz.
Very presidential. I broke all the codes for zoning in my residential. I broke
Nope.
secrets that I never meant to.
Nope, not today. Not today. I'm sorry, man. We got to go back and touch on this line because it ties in so well to the overall theme of what this song is about, bruh. Because Drake is basically saying he's just on a different level than everybody. That's what he's saying right here. Because for people who don't know, diplomatic immunity is basically for like high-ranking officers that's in the government who they're immune, or like they can't be charged with certain crimes, which is crazy. That's crazy to even think about, but that's the same level that Drake is saying that he's on. That's why when he says, let me go back to this line, when he says, word to the flags that belong in the hood of my Benz, very presidential, I broke all the codes for zoning in my residential. So as we all know, the president, whenever he drives around, he has flags on his car to kind of represent who he is. That's what Drake is saying. He should have that same type of status. Fire right there. But he says, I broke all the codes for zoning in my residential. Zoning codes are like, it's basically why you don't see like a house right next to a Walmart or a Target or any like stuff like that. There's certain codes that you have to abide by to be to have a certain area for like a grocery store, or there's codes that you have to have for a house. That's why he says, I broke all the codes for zoning in my residential. These rules don't apply to me because I'm on this high level. Fire, bruh. I'm telling you, bro. This man Drake, this man's on another level, dog. Keep it going.
In much of a sacred temple with vodka and wine and sleep at the opposite times. Promise shit is getting out of line.
Like when you make a stencil.
Or getting out of line.
Like when you break a pencil
Violating the treaty.
of a size,
Pain is the alias.
but no ceasing and cessing.
Regulations. I listen to heavy metal for meditation. No dollars.
Bro. It's a lot to touch on right here. I just love this whole pocket that he's in, bruh. With vodka and wine and sleep at the opposite times. That pocket right there, oh my goodness. I'm sorry. Let me go back to it, because when he says promise shit is getting out of line, like when you make a stencil, fire, or getting out of line like when you break a pencil. So a stencil is like something that you use to like make a design. That's why he says out of line, because it's an outline of whatever you want to make. Like, let's say you want to make a shape or an animal, you'll make a stencil of that animal, and you don't want to get outside the line, or it's easier for you to go outside of the lines, and it kind of helps you make that animal. Fire, that's why he says out of line, but it's actually outer line, like when you make a stencil, or getting out of line, like when you break a pencil. But coming up on this next line it's one of the lines I was talking about where I had to kind of go back and listen to this verse over and over again, because when I first listened to it, I didn't know what he was talking about here. So when he says violating the Treaty of Versailles, champagne is the alias, but no cease and desist and fire. So the Treaty of Versailles was something that helped stop, I think it was World War I. I believe that's the case. I could be wrong, but it helped stop a war. It was a treaty that each party had to sign off on. So I guess that's why he brings up you getting out of line like when you break a pencil. That's the only thing that kind of ties it to that. So, okay, that makes more sense. But you violating the Treaty of Versailles, so you getting out of line now. You don't want to do that. So he says, champagne is the alias, but no cease and desist and So a cease and desist is like a letter you would send to the opposite side, like, hey, bro, we don't want no more. We don't want no parts of this. We surrender, basically. But he's saying, hey, it's too late for that. And champagne is what people call him, Champagne Poppy or whatever, is the alias. That's what they call him. But no cease and desist. Fire, brother. So cryptic. And the ability to be able to tie everything in to one theme of a song is fire, bruh. because he goes on to say, I refuse to comply with regulations. That goes back into he's feeling like he's on another level, the diplomatic immunity, the zoning part where he's breaking all the zoning codes. He refuses to comply with regulations. I listen to heavy metal for meditation. Like, who does that? You're supposed to meditate in silence. That's why he says no silence, bruh. Fire. This, bro, it's another level. I'm sorry. This is on another level than the previous 3 verses that we did so far, just because of the complex. This is not easy to do. This is so complex, and you have to applaud them for that. So we're going to run it back just a tad bit and let it rock.
Heavy metal for meditation, no silence. Like Sanders on the Detroit Lions. Get a run around and I bury you where they won't find you. Motor City Casino, I'm at the cage with my old license. They tell me don't worry, I got your money.
Like Osiris.
Dirty.
This is another line that we have to touch on. I'm sorry. I told y'all this is gonna be a long video, bruh. But it's so much into everything that he's saying. So he says, like Sanders on the Detroit Lions, give me the runaround and I'll bury you where they won't find you. So obviously he's talking about Barry Sanders, who played for the Detroit Lions, but Sanders are the people who dig the graves. Like, they're called Sanders. So he's saying, like Sanders on the Detroit Lions, you give me the runaround and I'll bury you where they won't find you. Barry Sanders, bro, fire. That is fire. But he continues that Detroit, that Detroit theme right here by saying, Motor City Casino, I'm at the cage with my old license. They tell me don't worry, I got your money, like Osiris. Old Dirty Bastard, which is one of his songs that he made. Baby, I got your money.
Hey, dirty.
Sing it!
Baby, I got your money.
Sing it,
You
girl.
want it. I said, hey,
Just sing it right
baby,
now!
I got your money.
If 31 is money, I think y'all should give him his money.
Baby, I got your
That's
money.
how I like
You
you,
want it. I said, hey, baby, I got your money.
Fire. That is fire, bruh. How he tied all of that in, bruh. That's just top tier lyricism. That's what I'm talking about when I say this song is or verse, I should say, is on a different level than the previous, because this is just, it's so complex and hard to do. You just have to applaud him for what he did right there. But we're gonna keep it going, man. That's just one line I had to touch on. Keep it going.
Dirty 30, working on me. Tired of women that may tag me in pictures.
Airing my dirty laundry.
Catering from Giorgio Party, Robin's favorite. Shit is nice, but I prefer Madeo. Calamari, grains, and tomato. I got the sauce, and now shorty
Keep claiming Prego.
waking up at 6 p.m. like, where does the day go?
I'm sorry, man. This is what I'm talking about. This is another example of me having to go back because I didn't know what he was talking about in all of these bars, but we about to get into it. So he says, tired of women that may tag me in pictures airing my dirty laundry. So part of that is straightforward, and it's still fire, because he's basically saying he's tired of women that are trying to use him for his clout by just airing out his dirty laundry. That's tight. But it's even better because it has an underlying meaning. So he says that Maytag is a appliance brand. That's something that I didn't know, it just didn't come to my mind the first time I heard it. Maytag is an appliance brand. They sell washers and dryers and just appliances. So that's why he says airing my dirty laundry, because it ties into Maytag. That's fire, bruh. That is fire. But another one of the lines that I didn't know, pretty much this whole part right here. He says catering is from Giorgio Baldi, Robin's favorite. That shit is nice. I prefer Madeo. So I didn't know that Robin, I didn't know Rihanna's real name was Robin. I didn't know that. So he's saying catering, the food that they get, is from Giorgio Baldi. That's Robin's favorite. That's Rihanna's favorite. The shit is nice. I prefer Madeo. He's saying Rihanna's cool, and I understand that she's y'all's favorite because she was hot at the time. Well, I mean, it's Rihanna. She's still hot, but like at that time, she was at the peak. Like, people was comparing her to like Beyonce status. And I understand, I'm not gonna throw no shade on that, but she was at the peak. Like, that's why it says Robin's favorite. The shit is nice, but I prefer Madeo. I'm assuming that he's talking about another woman in his life there. I don't know who the woman is, but that's why he's like, yeah, Rihanna's cool, but I prefer this other chick. That's, like I say, I could be reaching, but that's just what I get from it. So we're gonna keep it going. Another line I did want to touch on. He says, I got the sauce and now Shorty keeps claiming Prego. So Prego is a sauce. That's a sauce you use for food, but I got the sauce is like a slang term for like I got clout now. That's why Shorty keeps claiming Prego. Prego is also a slang term for pregnant. That's just like I say, that's just a funny line I want to touch on before we move on, man. All right, keep it going.
Allegation at dinner tables. 2010 was when I lost my halo. 2017 I lost to J-Lo. Hey, Rotterdam trip had me on front page though. I had to lay low. My topic like your everyday clothes. Closed off, but I could never stay closed.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, bro. But this is what I'm saying, bro. The cryptic is so much in what he's saying here. So he says, 2017, I lost to J-Lo. So in 2017, Drake was trying to date Jennifer Lopez, but a Rotterdam trip had him on the front page though. So something that I didn't know the first time I listened to this was Rotterdam is an actual city in Europe. So when he says a Rotterdam trip had me on the front page though, he's saying a trip to Europe had him on the front page. But a Rotterdam sounds like a rod, a dam. That's why he says a rod, a damn trip had me on the front page. That's fire. That is fire, bro. This is what I'm saying. It's so cryptic, bro. Oh, but that's not even the end of it. So he says, I had to lay low. Hot topic like your everyday clothes. Closed off, but never stay closed. So right there, he's talking about he had to kind of lay low while he was out there in Europe. He was just rocking your everyday clothes. Hot Topic, which is a clothing line or a store basically where you just buy random stuff. You can buy clothes there. That's why he says like your everyday clothes. Closed off, the clothes are off, but he was closed off from like society, but he could never stay closed because he was still like making records. Fire, bro. That's what I'm saying. It's so much into all of this that he's talking about in these little lines. Like a lot of that can go over people's head just because they get the surface level bar and they kind of just move on. But it's so much more to it, bro. That's why I'm telling you, bro, this is just on a different level, dog. We're gonna keep it going.
Closed off, but I could never stay closed. Billboard Awards, I claimed 13 out in Vegas.
Like Serranos.
Black excellence, but I guess when it comes to me, it's not the same, no. That just pushed me to do the things
we all couldn't.
niggas staking out the crib.
It's all gravy.
Section that God gave me. Shit is complex, like short niggas rap tall lady. I gotta watch who I'm talking to.
Like it's all ages. Oh my goodness. I just want to touch on a few lines that that I didn't know about the first time listening to it. So again, Billboard Awards, I claimed 13 out in Vegas like Serranos. Serranos is it's a gang that I believe is more prevalent in Las Vegas, but I know that they're based off of I think the cartel, like it's like the Mexican mafia. I believe that's where it originated from, the Serranos. And he says he claimed like 13 awards, that is, but 13 is the number that represents Serranos. So that's something I did not know the first time listening to it. But this whole little pocket right here, he says, I claim like 13 in Vegas like Serranos, black excellence, but I guess when it comes to me, it's not the same though. Oh my goodness. So a lot of people talk about black excellence, but Drake is black. Granted, he's half white as well, but nobody talks about him as black excellence. That's why he says it doesn't apply to him. like it's not the same for him, I should say, because nobody's giving him the credit that he feels like he deserves, and he wants to represent it, but he's like, hey bro, it's all goody. That just pushed me to do the things we all couldn't. That's why he's on this different level. He's at the diplomatic immunity because that pushed him to be on this level, bruh. That's fire. That is fire. Oh my goodness. Now, granted, how true that is, like, I don't know if that's what really pushed him to like keep putting out all these hits or not, but regardless of the fact, that is a fire way to tie this in to the theme of the song, bro. Then he goes on to say, niggas staking out the crib, it's all gravy, protection that God gave me. The shit is complex, like short niggas round tall ladies. So what Drake is talking about here is a stakeout. So in a stakeout, what you do is you kind of spy on somebody to kind of get more intel on somebody. So what Drake is saying is his enemies, they're doing a stakeout on him, but it's all gravy. So that's an expression for it's cool, we don't got nothing to worry about. But stakeout, when you say stakeout, you think of steak, but it's all gravy. You put gravy on steak. That's just something funny I just wanted to throw in there. He goes on about the protection that God gave me. This shit is complex, like short niggas around tall ladies. So this right here is where he starts addressing the complexity of it all. So if you go back to the part where he started talking about being excluded from that black excellence conversation and kind of saying that it was pretty much the catalyst for him winning those 13 awards, because on one hand, he's looking at it like, y'all discouraging me, so I should be discouraging y'all. But on the other hand, he's saying, because y'all treated me this way, I'm just going to use it as motivation. That's where it's complex, because that's why he brings up the line, this shit is complex, like short niggas around tall ladies. Because if you picture that image in your head, you're going to think there's something more to this situation, because women most of the time don't like short dudes. They like guys that are taller than them. That's why he says it's complex. There's more to it. And he ends it to kind of also touch on the complexity of it all by saying, I gotta watch who I'm talking to, like it's all ages. So Drake is alluding to the complexity of his demographic, like the people who listen to his music, because it's all ages. It's kids, it's women, it's dudes, it's hood dudes, like everybody is in Drake's demographic. That's why he's saying it's complex. He has to watch who he's talking to, because he's talking to all ages. Bro, I'm telling you, bro, it's just so much into every little thing that he's saying in this entire verse, bro. But we're gonna keep it going, man. Let's get it.
Shit is complex, like short niggas round tall ladies. I gotta watch who I'm talking to, like it's all ages. I've seen budding careers turn to sit around and talk about
Other careers, judging their peers.
knowledge from niggas who did not contribute
To none of this here.
cover my ears, my security cover. Yeah.
We gotta stop. We gotta stop. I'm sorry, man. It is what it is. I tried to let y'all know this is gonna be a long video. I tried to let you know. So Drake says, I've seen budding careers turn to sit around and talk about other careers, judging their peers. So he's obviously talking about Joe Budden right here, because Joe's last name is Budden, but he says budding careers as in a rap career that's a promising rap career, or a rap career that's gaining traction. That's what budding means. But he follows it up to say he's seen budding careers turn to sit around and talk about other careers, judging their peers. Joe Budden retired from rap and did a podcast. He made his own podcast, and on the podcast he's pretty much just talking about other people, like other rappers' careers. That's why he says judging their peers. Fire line right there. Then he says, knowledge from niggas who did not contribute to none of this here. I cover my ears, my security government tier. Oh, snap. So when Drake bring this up, he's basically alluding to how Joe Budden was always kind of trying to put Drake under his arm and kind of drop gems every time Drake would kind of take a step forward in his career, kind of, for lack of a better terms, trying to leech on to Drake to kind of take that credit from him. That's why Drake says, knowledge from niggas who did not contribute to none of this here. I cover my ears. Bro, that's fire. Oh my goodness. I just had to touch on that. We're going to run it back just a little bit and keep it going.
Cover my ears, my security.
Government tier.
Yeah, advance the venue so we know the exits.
Right.
Guess list. If I'm making an appearance, at least
Expect it.
tell them I don't want to link like a broken necklace. I'll be in better company.
With my own reflection.
On the ceiling of my suite in the Royal Palace, the TV playing out just get raw.
Inshallah.
The mission keeps on
Getting clearer.
whenever, OVO.
Always be together like Shakira. Oh boy, that's pretty much the end of the verse, man. But we about to go back and touch on a couple lines here on how he ended this. So Drake says, advance the venue so we know the exits. Check the guest list. If ops make an appearance, at least it's expected. So he's saying go to the venue, kind of scope out the area, find the exits, check the guest list. So if any of his ops enemies comes up on that list and shows up to the venue, he's gonna expect it. And he goes on to say, tell him I don't want to link like a broken necklace. I'll be in better company with my own reflection. Mirror, mirror. Snap. So the broken necklace part of it is pretty straightforward. He's basically saying he doesn't want to link up with his ops. He doesn't want to meet with his enemies. But link as in the chain, that's what is used to connect the chain, the link that connects a chain. That's why he says, I don't want to link like a broken necklace. But when he says, I'll be in better company with my own reflection, that's alluding to his entire theme of this entire song. He's on a different level. He sees himself in a different light. That's why when he says mirror, mirror, he's talking about the, is it the Disney, is it Snow White? I think it's Snow White with the evil queen that always looks in the mirror and kind of, she's feeling herself. But that's how he's looking at it here. That's why he says, I'll be in better company with my own reflection. Mirror, mirror. That's, oh goodness, that's fire. I love that. It's not too much more here, but at the end he says, whenever, wherever, OVO will always be together like Shakira. Fire, because he's alluding to another artist's lyrics, like the same thing he did with Old Dirty Bastard, ODB I should say, because in Shakira's song she says that whenever, wherever part of it, but OVO is his own label or brand, whatever you want to call it, the owl, that's his thing, and he's saying they'll always be together like in the Shakira song.
Whenever, wherever, we're meant to be together. I'll be there and you'll be near, and that's the deal, my dear.
So that's it for this verse, man. I just wanted to make sure I was able to break down this verse in particular as thorough as possible, because I knew that for me, this verse was a verse that I've had to go back and listen to multiple times before I kind of understood everything that he was saying. So I wanted to make sure I got that out in the video. But yeah, man, this was like the Da Vinci Code, because out of the Drake verses, that is, because he's just speaking in code. Like, it's so cryptic that a lot of the stuff that he's saying will go over your head if you don't know what he's talking about. But yeah, man, that's pretty much it. We just got one more verse left, and it is a fire verse. So I'm gonna leave it there, and we're gonna move on to number one.